Damn. Should we be like,
what's up,
damn,
people?
maybe something a little bit more. Anyway.
All right, everybody, welcome to Everything to Gain. This is season 1, episode 11. So I can't do it on two hands anymore. We're on episode 11, Mark. Look at this. Look at us.
Craziness.
So before we get into everything, just want to say that I am repping Instanet, the old Instanet logo here. Not the old one, but this is from about 2000 with the
Matador.
Oh, look at you, Alf. You got the watch.
You guys are hilarious.
You got the watch.
Longines for 10 years.
I have my eye only key.
Sorry. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my God. So for the audience, we all work together. I met Allison in the late 80s and Mark in the mid 90s, but we all worked together at a firm called Instanet. But welcome everybody to another episode of Everything to Gain, where we talk about making positive changes in your life. Maybe it's a career pivot, maybe it's personal. I'm your co-host, Dan Yu, and joined by Mark Anclos. Marky Mark. So, Mark, why don't you kick it off for us?
All right, folks. So this week we're joined by a very good friend, Allison Wright. Allison got her start working for several HR organizations at the global level, global corporations, from financial services to consumer packages, retail services, telecom. She's made several pivots in her life, and Allison has a lot of wisdom to share. She's got a lot of insight. She's doing a lot of good in the world, which we'll tell you about. So, Allison, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Wow. Mark and Dan, thanks for having me. Love it.
So glad you're here. So
and thanks for the intro.
Oh, absolutely. So by the way, so in 2013, you started College 411. In 2014, you started eSchool for Girls, and most recently, 3 Keys Consulting. But we'll get to all that. But you were in large corporate, and so you've made the kind of the pivot to being an entrepreneur several times. And so, what were some of the lessons you learned in corporate life when you decided to break out on your own?
Okay. So, well, one of the things, as I've had an opportunity to really reflect on my career at a variety of different times, plus as an executive coach, I help people do this all the time. So start with yourself, is it's all about being an intrapreneur, not an entrepreneur. My career has always been focused on innovation, thinking differently about the problems that we're solving for. And while at times I kind of felt alone in that at times, also got a lot of motive. I was very inspired by influencing people to think differently about very traditional things. It probably starts with the company, my first big job at this company, Instanet. We literally invented electronic trading, fintech. I mean, we were part of like the beginning of that. It was like 1990, employees 118. I mean, it's like big deal, but we had no idea. So I use that as an analogy of how my whole career has gone. I've taken things that we've done in traditional ways, oftentimes with, just to kind of include a small group of people, and then be able to take that where we're considering everybody and all of the talent and all of the people that we can create value with. So if it goes from, anything from, hiring, talent acquisition to talent management, program management, and leadership, I mean, there's a huge opportunity there around performance. And those are the things that I've really come to learn and know. And my personal brand is helping people and organizations be at their best. And that is one of the many threads that go throughout everything that I do, in both as a corporate professional and executive to being a social impact founder 10 years ago. And I know we're going to talk about that. And then in the past year, standing up this, change and transformation organization with my partner, Jessica Jacobs at 3 Keys Consulting, and the variety of experiences and successes and lessons learned, lots of them, throughout, with many amazing people like yourselves.
Allison, just to pull on that thread for a second, the lessons learned, I would think that what it takes to be successful at the large corporate level, globally versus what it takes to be successful as a small entrepreneur who's starting. Not always the same thing. What are some of the things that come to mind and top of your mind of, tips or thoughts around the differences?
Okay. So I'm known as yes and. I'm not a big fan of but. So I mean, I've even had my teams like give me a button that says yes and, like it is my thing. I know it's not. I'm not the only one, thank goodness, but yes and. So there's a lot of similarities, and I know that my more experiential training by working in this variety of these organizations and helping to stand up organizations across many different industries, but working with many different people. And the one thing that I find that is always the same is it's about people. People laugh at me. Sometimes I say it's about people, damn it, because that's the thing that helps us be successful or not. I've seen this over and over again in the Fortune 20 companies I've worked in the startup companies I've worked in, everything in the middle and all different industries, is when we don't focus on how we're going to get things done with, through, and for people, like all of our stakeholders, we're kind of doomed to fail. We don't reach those outcomes and people get extremely frustrated. So I hope I'm answering your question, Mark, in that this is like the common threads. Now, here are some of the things that are different. Oh, when you're in a large organization or even a small organization, but it's established, you have a lot of people around you that you can partner and collaborate with. And I'm a big relationship and collaborator, big, like, kind of like make that happen in companies. When you're in a small organization or a startup that you've created, you wear every one of those hats. It is not easy. And there's a lot of things that you're going to like do, maybe for the first time, maybe for the 100th time. It's really important to be able to develop those eyes, I think, as an entrepreneur, where you can pull on other things you've done in the past and identify other people that you've worked with in the past that can help you get through almost everything and anything. I know daily. It's not, and you know what? And if you look at things as you can personally grow and develop as you're helping others grow and develop, because that's our role as a consultant. I know a lot of consulting organizations do not maybe understand that oftentimes, but they come to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny that you mentioned Instinet, right, where we all came from, right? It's the tagline back then was changing the way the world trades.
Yeah.
And what you're doing now, right, with everything you've done, right? So you've changed the way the world or the organization does what they do, right? Which is so great to see. So we will focus on eSchool for Girls, which is really where I want to go to today. But first, I want to talk about the pivot back into corporate, right? And you went to Verizon, so one of the largest companies on the planet. And what led you to do that? And what did you do there?
Well, a few things, both personal and professional. I had just taken the last 5 years to start my own company, College 411, and to start eSchool for Girls, my social impact organization. And I know we're going to talk about that. Going to Verizon, which was my second Fortune 10 gig, so to speak. My first one was in much more senior, influential roles. And at Altria, I needed to be able to go back into an organization that I could really make a huge difference in, from a perspective of taking what I love to do, which is organization effectiveness, change, transformation, strategy. How do we help bring people from where they are today and organizations to where they need to go to? Like, I'm a little geeky about that. It's really exciting for me, not because of what I personally can do, but what I see other people and their ability to change and transform, or not, but that's what I do. I focus on, and that's what me and my partner Jess do for 3 Keys. But going back in, I had a go into an organization. At the time, I had a few different choices. It was either like do CHRO at a couple of small companies. I had decided just to take I said, you know what? I love what I'm doing. And at the same time, I don't think I've done enough in corporate and the economy and everything else. And, I was like, I need to go back in.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And that's great. I love my business. It was really good, profitable from the beginning, and helped people in big ways. But it was more like an effort and impact. I can't help it. That's what I do. So I'm like, okay, I put a lot of effort into this. The impact for others, yeah. And for me and my family and Rob, like, I might need to go back in. And I was getting a lot of calls over those 5 years. So, and, things were going on in the world and the country, and we don't have to go into that. But, there were really good decisions to be made as to go back in. And this was an optimal role to help stand up this change and transformation organization within a company like Verizon, who's going through major transformations. My first gig there was to literally work with the new CTO, who then became the CEO, and their organization to stand up and like a transformation within the network and technology organization. And I did that for the first 2 years there. And it was big, and I loved it. And, places like Verizon, it's really focused on closing the digital divide. And that is a big area of focus for me. So it made it very easy for me in finding my purpose in an organization that had the same.
So you're there, but that also opened up some doors for you, right? And that got you into becoming an executive coach, right? An instructor over at Wharton. So, UPenn, top business school, tell us about that.
About almost 2 years ago, I had this opportunity presented to me. I was really trying to, I had a lot of, even though it wasn't like the title big, it was a big role at Verizon, and we expect a lot from people, right? And this was like a lifelong dream that I'd never really thought that would actually happen. And at the same time, one of the programs that I'm involved with there is primarily focused on developing the current and next generation of CHROs. So I work with a lot of C-suite folks throughout my whole career. The opportunity is, I'm the type of person that people can trust. And I'm not going to look at somebody just because of your title as to who you are and what you're about. And at the same time, I know that we can all grow and develop. And I really inspire and influence that in others. And I've also had a lot of experience, especially in HR, heading up HR, and I'm a business leader. HR is my area of expertise, so to speak. And what I'm able to do with the Wharton program, this is my 7th cohort, so almost 2 years now, is to help people think differently. It's about connecting your organization's strategy to your people, and then developing solutions around that we bring in the areas of HR and human capital and innovation and data, and being clear about taking humans from where they are today to where we need them to go in the future. And being able to help make that happen and inspire that. I get to teach, I get to guide through a major initiative or capstone with each of the people I work with individually. So probably worked with over 300 people individually, and then together, I don't know, set at almost 1,000 people over the past 7 cohorts. And they're from around the world, all different industries, all different sectors, all different backgrounds. And that, to me, creating that space, providing that opportunity. I work with some amazing other, professors and other people in my role as the success coaches, and of course the students themselves. You can feel what the future, that we're going to be in good hands. It takes work, though.
I love what you said about aligning, the corporate strategy with people, right? It seems like it would make sense for any organization. However, the idea may be great, though execution may be lacking, and that's really what you're pulling on for 3 Keys Consulting now on a smaller level, maybe not at the size of Verizon, but is still within organizations. So love to hear more about 3 Keys. If you could briefly go over that, because I do want to get to eSchool for Girls today.
Okay. So I think one of the things around 3 keys that to really bring up why Jessica and I started this, to your point, many organizations don't have these people like us to come in and help you think differently. We're focused on building capability. We're not focused on, like only we can do this. Yeah, in some cases, yeah, this,
Right.
like together 40 plus years of experience doing this. Yeah, that's you're bringing that into your company. Okay.
Right.
No matter if you're a small organization or a large organization. And at the same time, it's understanding that we're like, our brand of consulting is one that while we are your thought leaders, helping you think differently and charting that course, helping you develop your strategy, where you want to go, how you want to get there. At the same time, we want you to learn how to do it.
Yeah, teaching, like teach a man to fish, right?
We are all about the teaching to fish. In that, like I said, it's not like you are bringing in that expertise. And at the same time, we have a very strong belief in people that they can operate at higher levels, especially when they're working with people that are already, have that capability. So we want to make sure that we leave that we are with any organization and leave any organization with them being able to be at their best, especially, through the leaders that we work with. And we really believe in the power of those leaders. We know they can shift and change. We've seen it over and over again. And we've developed, both Jess and I individually and together, have developed and charted that course where we meet people where they're at. We create programs and we use the theories. We use all of that. That's great, but we make it relevant because that's what we've been trained. Because we've been doing it for that long. And, with the other thing I just say with 3 keys is that we really believe that the world is about the human ecosystem. And with AI, we're big users of AI. We love it. We think it's like phenomenal. We are already working with some organizations to help them and their people consider what AI can be for people in the future. One of my favorite quotes is, if you're not using AI, you're going to be the person that's replaced by AI. Get in it, try it out, play around. We have so many ideas about technology. Once again, where are our roots and where my roots are, starting in a company that literally disrupted the financial services industry and was there for a long, like it was pretty, it's that we'll talk about red threads, like Mark, that's pulling through like for everything. I've so much there, including having some great friends that I will have for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And so Mark actually has another show about AI.
Yeah. So I run an AI blockchain podcast, and that's it. Like people, the best advice I've heard is what you just said, Allison. People just got to get in there, roll your sleeves up and literally sit with the machinery and just talk to it.
It's
right.
It's amazing.
It makes us smarter. It's not the answer. It's a way of finding answers where you don't start from like spending, we all have a finite amount of time and, time that we can spend on something. If something could speed that up for you and like give you a rough draft, I don't know about you, but I write things. When I write things, even emails, papers, articles, whatever, I like write one version, look at it, go back to it a day later. I write decks like that. I mean, it helps. It's great. But now getting a little help from the beginning, because you have to learn how to ask questions and, really get AI to help you. That takes practice. Take a lot of practice.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the fun part.
So it's all about intention, right? It's all about being intentional, right? So your career has always been intentional. Using AI has to be intentional, which is really the perfect segue to what we want to talk about, which is eSchool for Girls. And let's turn the clock back to 2014 and the launch of eSchool for Girls. Would love to hear kind of the mission, the journey, where you are today.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm really beyond just an instrument in this world to help ensure that everyone has opportunity and that people are not left out of creating value in this world, being talented, and the sooner the better. Because we just talked about AI. The world's moving faster. Think about it, 25 years ago when there was no electronic trading. Okay. Like think about 12 years ago when we did not carry these in our pockets all of the time. I'll show the eSchool for Girls logo.
Oh, here you go.
You did have the internet beeper though.
Oh yes, of course. Wasn't that great?
Keep going.
And the phone was about this big, right? Remember?
Oh my God, I had my first Motorola. It was huge. It was so big, but I was on the beach and you could hardly get a signal. Anyway, it was really kind of funny. But yes, Mark, and that's so true. And when you think about it, the opportunities are endless. And the opportunities are even more endless right now for folks that have not traditionally been in the pool, the talent pool, the opportunity pool, the generational wealth pool, the innovation. We need more people, especially folks that have the problems that we're trying to solve for. They can come up with really amazing solutions. And it's always iterative. As an entrepreneur, we know that, or an entrepreneur, you don't usually land on the right answer the first time. You got to keep going it and going it. And huge opportunity is we're not teaching that in schools, K to 12, in socioeconomically advantaged areas and socioeconomically disadvantaged areas and everything in between. So my mission was to create more female entrepreneurs and leaders early on. It was a huge opportunity. I had that college 411. I was seeing what these kids were going through. So I landed on girls 14 to 18 from under-resourced and minority backgrounds to focus on serving them in a program that I designed with some really amazing thought leaders at NYU, as entrepreneurs, leaders, professors. I ran a couple of design thinking sessions. Good thing I have that skill. And we came up with some really, what is the tenets of what is eSchool for Girls? And that was 10 years ago. We had our first class and we housed it at NYU. Well, the real first one we held in Rockefeller Center, but we held it at NYU. And we had this group of 23 girls that were, at that time, because we weren't having rising sophomores, so 15 to 18 years old. And they were learning about themselves, self-awareness, ideation, how to communicate, meeting entrepreneurs, meeting corporate leaders, meeting college professors, being taught by college professors, going on campus at NYU to a variety of different schools like Stern and the Leslie E Lab and Tisch and Steinhardt, the education school and psychology school. I mean, it was pretty amazing. And everything that we designed and things that were by design, intentional, and many of them were just, it happened. And it was because it was supposed to happen. And I'm a big believer and very open to trying new things. And we showed that to the girls too, because they're also in system that they're being taught, multiple choice tests and writing book reports about other people's books. None of those things make you successful later on in life, not even in school. And I wanted to create an educational experience as a non-traditional educator to surprise and really build not just potential, but build their thinking and their capability and skills and networking with each other, personal skills.
Right.
What the girls got from this immediately was confidence, seeing other people. I mean, over the years, we've curated over 40 faculty members coming in and out of eSchool for Girls. I mean, corporate leaders, college professors, entrepreneurs, government officials. I mean, everybody. And then the girls themselves, and they get to learn that you learn from each other. There's literally programs built into eSchool for Girls about helping women learn to support each other. Another challenge. We don't have enough time for that today, but created really fun way that it was, for them to learn to amp each other up, to pick out the greatness in each other and then amp each other up. And it became became a contest. We did this like 3 years into the program. I mean, there's so much that happens when you open the world to your ideas don't matter. You should be quiet until you're spoken to. Oh, you're not old enough to. Oh, you're not from the right background. Oh, you're this, you're that. Okay, hold on. Let's change it up. What are you? And you can develop that. And you can develop that now, especially when girls are younger. I landed on high school because there are a lot of, K-5 programs as well as middle school programs for under-resourced and minority young people. And at the same time, it kind of drops off in high school, which is one of the most important times for a million different reasons. Sure. And one of them is they're getting ready to think about what they're going to do after high school, whether it's college, community college, a job, starting their own business. I mean, there's a lot of different things for them to consider. And also, when you have this to consider and think about, you might make different choices when you're younger that actually hold you back. And unfortunately, our under-resourced and minority young girls have the greatest likelihood of being in situations where it could hold them back for life or for way before in their life,
So to that end, right? Like you have 10 years, right? Like this is your 10th year of eSchool for Girls. Woo, 10 years.
10 years of graduating classes. They all, by the end, they're developing their first venture and they're pitching to a professional pitch group. And now they're getting, they're also having opportunities to get education awards that they can use for their education over the last few years.
Wow. And so could you describe some of the stats that you've seen, right, as the impact, or actually I would say the stats going of the demographics and the numbers coming into the program, if you have that, and then the impact of the alumni?
Okay. Yes. And so to start with, we started with that we knew all the girls that applied would not be able to go to the program, be accepted in, or go to the program. So we wanted to have the learning start from the beginning. And with my lens of having that college business, that college 411 business, where people even of means needed the support, it was overly complicated process, sophisticated for no reason. And at the same time, that we would increase the likelihood of them knowing something new by even applying. So one is we have at least 200 girls apply each year. Maybe we started with 110 or something, the first year. But the application is online and designed like a college app light. So they have to write some short essays, and I don't care about their grammar or anything like that. I just want to get them thinking about why this program or why themselves, what they might want to do in the future. They're not even asked these questions. I mean, if that's a game changer, and that makes a huge difference. They're not asked these questions when they're in school, they're teachers, they're, parents programs. And we knew that a lot of times the girls would come from backgrounds that they didn't have any role models and experienced people that could show them what the possibility of their careers or what they could do in the future would be. Okay. So the statistics is, Danny, we have a highly diverse group every single 10 years of the program, from Hispanic, Latina, Asian, Indian, African-American, obviously, Black, white, everybody from all backgrounds from around the world. Some of them are from immigrant families. Some of them are not. Some of them are immigrants themselves. Wow. Then we show them in the program. So let's call it, I just said 150, let's say 150 to 200 people apply each year. So they're all impacted. Then we have anywhere from 20 to 60 girls that go through the program. Pre-COVID, we're up to 65. Even the first year during COVID, when we went virtual, 65.
Wow.
So between 150 as far as number of applicants and then the actual enrollees, right? What I see that you have another program coming up this summer, but what's the thing that really gets them to kind of stick it out?
Themselves. they start to see their greatness because we start pointing it out to
I
them.
love it.
They're not used to be hearing that or seeing that, except from their parents, obviously, or their aunties or their uncles or other people, their neighbors and friends and other people potentially. But when everything is designed that they have success throughout the program, whether we do it in a 2-week pre-college program at NYU, or we did it over 7 months for the past 3 years because of COVID pivot. And we've learned a lot. So we're like changing the program up, and we have some like amazing partners in idealist.org and NYU and a variety of different organizations. We're about to do some work with Sachs LLP. I mean, there's like Wilkie Farr. I mean, we have a lot of friends that believe in these girls and know who and what they can be and are part of that. And then the individuals.
So what are the goals for eSchool? What are the next goals for eSchool for Girls?
Scale and grow. We're actually looking at some organizations. We're looking for some big grants to help us actually take what we've learned over the past 10 years. And we know this with any entrepreneurial venture. This is the spot, 10 to 12. So over the next couple of years, we want to package this up and be able to bring this to more people. And we need help to do that. I mean, that's going to be at the big foundation level. And we're identifying a couple of organizations, some family offices that might have opportunities to make a difference for these girls and show them that they can, and develop our next group of female entrepreneurs. 2 to 3% of funding through VCs. That's what the female entrepreneurs get. 2 to 3%. What are we talking about? Are you kidding me? When I started this thing, that was one of the statistics that led me to start this. I'm like, oh, we can just increase the number of female entrepreneurs. So we will, because there must not be enough. But still at this point, and we know that entrepreneurship has kicked it up like 20 notches. And then on top of it, the same with the number of female CEOs in Fortune 500 companies. We've gone from 4.6 all the way to like 9.2. But of course, we keep going backwards because it only takes a couple to lose their roles or leave their roles.
Right.
And those are a couple of statistics that we can use as to like increase, but it just points out the problem that we have. Mark, I know you were just going to say something. I'm sorry.
I think that's it's just a great point. I think that you're 100% right. I was going to point that out, that it's almost an unfair split, and it's in a perfect world, it's just merit based. But the reality is that's not always how it plays out.
And it's a problem, Mark, not just because it's not right and it's not fair and equitable. Women have the greatest likelihood of adding jobs into
women's scale and the EQ in a way guys don't always. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
They add jobs. They also add more money into the economy.
Yeah,
right.
It is a known fact. It's out there. There's all statistics. That's all data is there. Like it just doesn't even make sense. And oh, by the way, we all, we can do this.
Everybody
together.
wins. Everybody wins.
It is a win-win. We need talent. I need talented people.
So Allison, I'm listening to you talk. I've made a little list here off this ad hoc. Go ahead, Dan.
Actually, so the website for eSchool for Girls is on the banner that's scrolling by. If anybody wants to learn more about eSchool for Girls and the mission, the program, if you want to apply, it's right on the front page there. So please go to eSchoolforGirls.org. So go ahead, Mark.
Allison, I applaud you with what you're doing. We've talked offline about this. I think that your mission, I share your mission, by the way, that bringing the entrepreneurial approach into the world, especially in a world that's being transformed by AI, it's honestly, it's God's work. I think that you're making a big difference for people. But I made a little list here of, as you were talking just now, the top 10 takeaways I've had here. There's just insights and themes that you've shared. I think there's some value in sharing it back with the group. So, number one, learn how to build through and with other people. Such a fantastic insight. Number two, craft a network you can leverage. You say that offhandedly, like no big deal, but meanwhile, that is a lot of the power that you bring for these folks. Number three, know the environment where you can be the most effective. Anyone listening, there'll be places where you're better or worse. No, you need to know that. Number four, align your purpose with that of the organization. If you're not in your own, you need to make sure that you're being most effective. Number 5, create a space where people of different backgrounds can work together to create the future. You said that. That was a great quote. Number 6, teaching folks to fish is more impactful than telling people what to do. It's so true. 7, leverage AI to build intentional outcomes for your business, career, or your personal life. People are just like waiting. Meanwhile, they're losing opportunity.
Yep.
Number 8, reach out and pull people along on their journey. Dan, you've lived this. I think that's such a great, we need more of that in the world.
We lift as we climb.
Number 9, success starts with self-awareness, networking, and confidence. Such crucial ingredients. Number 10, regardless of your background, the opportunity today is enormous, no matter who you are. People sometimes think that I'm not able to, or I can't. You can. And finally, bonus, small success becomes self-perpetuating into larger success. That was a great point. Like they build on themselves. They start to see yourself differently after a while. These are such great insights that you're bringing into the world. And I mean it. Like the world needs more of that.
Yeah. This is just so much fun to have you on the show. We've been looking forward to doing this for so long because I think your message and the mission is just everybody can believe in it. Anybody can go to eSchool for Girls, right down on the banner there, eSchoolforGirls.org. Anybody can go and learn more about the mission. I think it's just a terrific. Congratulations on 10 years for eSchool for Girls.
That's great.
Tremendous.
Yeah, no, I just want to thank you both for having me. Mark, I can't wait to do the replay because I got to write all of those 10 things and this down. And Danny, as always, I mean, I could just go on and on. Like seriously, support from throughout. Who gets to have their first job where it's like an extension of like your people from college, or I mean that just it's real. It's more than real, and it's probably why we're all so successful in our right after and with. So it's pretty amazing. And finally, I just wanted to say, when you go to eSchoolforGirls.org, if you're interested in getting involved, by all means, there's a volunteer form there, or you could just email me. My email address is there, or you could also help us out with sponsoring eSchool for Girls. You can do that through PayPal or call or text me, and I'll tell you how to send funds or anything. Every little bit helps, and teach more people. Oh my God, I'm seeing so many people. This is so great. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, Davis. Thanks, Leanne.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your wisdom.
I want to say shout out to some of the comments. Leanne Lavin and Davis Gaines, thank you for commenting. Allison, this is so great to have you here. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, great Memorial Day weekend, long weekend, right? For all of us here in the States.
We need it.
Yeah, we do need it. Mark, always a pleasure. Good seeing you.
Honor's mine.
Allison, this is just this is such a great
Allison
episode.
was great.
Yeah.
Thank
Super insightful.
Both. Thank you both. I can't wait to be back.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining. This has been another episode of Everything to Gain. And thank you to Allison Wright for being with us today. The theme music you are now hearing, good friend DJ Metronics.
We love it. Let's do it.
And that's it.
Thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate the support and the interaction.
Awesome. Thank you.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Later.
Thanks, Jeanette.